ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.
Vrindavan Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Ganga Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Jamuna Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Shamaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Prem Anande.
Hari. Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol. Glory to Sri Prabhupada. Nama Om. Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Shami iti namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravarni Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Ram Shyam Prabhu, could you read the translation, please?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna. Chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. When Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda came dancing through Nadia, they gave the teachings, chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. You are caught up in a whirlpool of selfless action and are sinking lower and lower. Chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. If you just understand that the spirit soul is eternal servant of Krishna, you will never have any more sorrows. Chant Hare Krishna and your eyes will fill with tears and your body will feel transcendental shivering. Chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. Simply chant Radha Krishna and join with us. Those are the only alms we beg. Chant, chant Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. All dangers will be gone when that name is chanted, said Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Chant, chant Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We are reading and studying and discussing Caitanya Caritamrita Adi Leela, chapter 10, text 135 and 136 here.
প্রতাপ রুদ্র রাজা আর ওড্র কৃষ্ণানন্দ, পরমানন্দ মহাপাত্র, ওড্র শিবানন্দ, ভগবান আচার্য, ব্রহ্মানন্দাক্ষ ভারতী, শ্রী শিখি মাহিতি আর মুরারি মাহিতি।
Translation: King Prataparudra of Orisha, the Oriya devotees Krishnananda and Shivananda, and Paramananda Mahapatra, Bhagavan Acharya, Brahmananda Bharati, Sri Sikhi Mahiti, and Murari Mahiti constantly associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while he resided in Jagannath Puri. Purport. Prataparudra Maharaj, who belonged to the dynasty of the Ganga kings and whose capital was in Katak, was the emperor of Odisha and a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was by the arrangement of Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that he was able to personally serve Lord Chaitanya. In the Gaur Gunadesh Deepika 118, it is said that King Indradyumna, who established the temple of Jagannath thousands of years ago, later took birth again in his own family as Maharaj Prataparudra during the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maharaj Prataparudra was as powerful as King Indra. The drama named Chaitanya Chandrodaya was written under his direction. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya Khanda, chapter 5, Paramananda Mahapatra is described as follows. Paramananda Mahapatra was among the devotees who took birth in Odisha and accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their only asset. In the ecstasy of conjugal love, he always thought of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhagavan Acharya, a very learned scholar, was formerly an inhabitant of Hali Shahar, but he left everything to live with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. His relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was friendly, like that of a cowherd boy. He was always friendly to Swarup Goswami, but he was staunchly devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He sometimes invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house. Bhagavan Acharya was very liberal and simple. His father, Shatananda Khan, was completely materialistic. And his younger brother, Gopal Bhattacharya, was a staunch Mayavadi philosopher who had studied very elaborately. When his brother came to Jagannath Puri, Bhagavan Acharya wanted to hear from him about Mayavad philosophy. But Swarup Damodar forbade him to do so. And there the matter stopped. Once, a friend of Bhagavan Acharya's from Bengal wanted to recite a drama that he had written that was against the principles of devotional service. And although Bhagavan Acharya wanted to recite this drama before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar, the Lord's secretary, did not allow him to do so. Later, Swarup Damodar pointed out the drama's many mistakes and its disagreements with the conclusion of devotional service. And the author became aware of the faults in his writing and then surrendered to Swarup Damodar, begging his mercy. This is described in the Antya Lila, chapter 5, verses 91 through 158. In the Gaur Gunadesh Deepika 189, it is said that Shiki Mahiti was formerly an assistant of Srimati Radharani named Ragalekha. His sister, Madhavi, was also an assistant of Srimati Radharani and was named Kala Keli. Shiki Mahiti, Madhavi, and their brother, Murari Mahiti, were all unalloyed devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who could not forget him for a moment of their lives. There's a book in the Uriya language called Caitanya Charita Mahakavya, in which there are many narrations about Shiki Mahiti. One narration concerns his seeing an ecstatic dream. Shiki Mahiti always engaged in serving the Lord in his mind. One night, while he was rendering such service, he fell asleep. And while he was asleep, his brother and sister came to awaken him. At that time, he was in full ecstasy because he was having a wonderful dream that Lord Chaitanya, while visiting the temple of Jagannath, was entering and again coming out of the body of Jagannath and looking at the Jagannath deity. Thus, as soon as he awakened, he embraced his brother and sister and informed them, "My dear brother and sister, I have had a wonderful dream that I shall now explain to you. The activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Shachi, are certainly most wonderful. I saw that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while visiting the temple of Jagannath, was entering the body of Jagannath and again coming out of his body. I am still seeing that same dream. Do you think I have become deranged? I am still seeing that same dream. And the most wonderful thing is that as soon as I came near Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he embraced me with his long arms." As Shiki Mahiti spoke to his brother and sister in this way, his voice faltered and there were tears in his eyes. Thus, the brothers and sister went to the temple of Jagannath, and there they saw Lord Chaitanya in the Jagamohan Kirtan Hall, looking at the beauty of the Sri Jagannath deity, just as in Shiki Mahiti's dream. The Lord was so magnanimous that he immediately embraced Shiki Mahiti, exclaiming, "You are the elder brother of Murari." Being thus embraced, Shiki Mahiti felt ecstatic transcendental bliss. Thus he and his brother and sister always engaged in rendering service to the Lord. Murari Mahiti, the younger brother of Shiki Mahiti, is described in the Madhya Lila, chapter 10, verse 44. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master has opened my eyes, blinded with the darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtang Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Tadati Sha Pandantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktabinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to ask permission from and blessings from the seniors, by senior by age, advancement in Krishna consciousness, and involvement in the Hare Krishna movement. Please. I thank you. So let's look at the top of this purport. First, we're the description of Pratapa Rudra Maharaj as the king of emperor of Orisha. Orisha was a big kingdom, extended quite distant, quite far into in central India, and also all the way down to South India. And it says here, Srila Prabhupada mentions that Maharaj Prataparudra was as powerful as King Indra, which is pretty powerful. During the reign of Prataparudra Maharaj, there were many attacks on the kingdom of Orisha. As you probably know, from the north, Nawab Hussain Shah was repeatedly attacking Odisha. In fact, when Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis were planning to retire from the government service, one of Sanatan Goswami particularly was asked by Nawab Hussain Shah to accompany him or to take over the reins of the government while he was going on expedition to fight against Prataparudra Maharaj. And Sanatan Goswami refused that many times. But Nawab Hussain Shah was never able to, during the lifetime of Prataparudra Maharaj, was never able to conquer lands within Orisha. And from the east, there was from the west, there was another Muslim king who was also attacking. And in the south, there was a kingdom, Vijayanagar kingdom. There was some fighting also going on there. So when Nawab Hussain Shah first attacked Orissa, it was because Prataparudra Maharaj was in the south fighting against the king of Vijayanagar. So he took advantage of this. Most of the time, Prataparudra Maharaj was successful in his endeavors, but near the end of his reign, he lost some land, some property of the kingdom of Orisha, and that had been going on for some time. Orisha used to be much bigger, the kingdom there, but gradually over time, the lands were usurped by other lesser kings. So some unscrupulous people say that because Prataparudra Maharaj became an avid follower of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, therefore, and he wasn't paying attention to his kingly duties, therefore, he lost land in the kingdom of Orisha. Have you ever heard that before? People in Orisha sometimes say that, which is not correct. Not correct. Here we see he was as powerful as Indra. And we find that many fighters say, for example, Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj was able to conquer the whole Swargaloka heavenly kingdom and kick out the demigods. Why? How did he get the power? Do you know?
Yeah, because he was the intimate devotee of the Lord.
No,
No,
not correct.
he plays Sukracharya.
Yes, because he pleased the spiritual master, Shukracharya. So by the strength of pleasing his spiritual master, he was empowered. So what to speak of Maharaj Prataparudra, who's the disciple, a great follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Arjun in the battle of Kurukshetra, he took shelter of Krishna, and then he was successful, but not always. You could have asked before, well, part of the reason the Pandavas were exiled in the forest and lost their kingdom was because they were devotees, Vaishnavas. Is that right?
No.
No. So anyway, people say like that, but Krishna had his own plan. And here we see Prataparudra Maharaj is considered one of among the branches and the close associates of Lord Chaitanya. That's why when we talked about why Lord Chaitanya wouldn't meet Prataparudra Maharaj, again and again, he was requested, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused. Some answered, well, that's because he wasn't a pure, elevated devotee. Well, I hesitated with that. Other reasons are that Lord Chaitanya wanted to prove the example that, the sannyasi is very reluctant to meet with a materialistic person, even though, not that he was materialistic, but just that he was in such a position, Prataparudra Maharaj. And he wanted to increase Prataparudra Maharaj's desire to get his association. Here it says he was a constant associate. So either directly or in his heart, in his mind, he was associating with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very interesting. So yeah, the kingdom of Orisha went all the way down there to the Krishna, was it the Krishna River in the South India there? Is it?
Yes.
And
Near
Godavari River?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it also mentions that King Indradyumna, he was the king that was present on the earth when Nila Madhava was seen by a Brahmin, and his beauty was described in the court of Indradyumna, and he was so much taken by that description that he wanted to find that in Nila Madhava deity. But by the time he got there, by his arrangements, Nila Madhava had disappeared. So he heard a voice saying that very soon there'll be some wood that will come, and that will become the deity for the next half of the day of the life of Brahma. So then he went, he said, like this is an expression, if you build it, they will come. Have you heard that first? If you build it, they will come. Anyway, so he was supposed to build a temple for Lord Jagannath, and then Jagannath was coming. So he went to see Lord Brahma to get him to install the Jagannath deities there. That's King Indradyumna. And when he saw Jagannath, who had been carved by Vishwakarma, apparently incompletely, he offered a prayer to Lord Jagannath upon first seeing Lord Jagannath. Do you know that prayer? Very simple prayer. No?
Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami.
Good guess, but no. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. That's when he first saw. And then that same prayer was offered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Lord Jagannath at when he saw Lord Jagannath first on the cart into the Rath Yatra festival. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Then we see down below the Bhagavanacharya. Bhagavanacharya, it's interesting, his father was it said here, is completely materialistic, and his brother was a Mayavadi philosopher. It says that Bhagavanacharya was a great scholar. So all these things are very interesting. And it's, of course, because he was his brother, he wanted to hear from his brother about his philosophy, but Srila Damodar forbade him to do so. Reminds us that Lord Chaitanya said, those people who hear the commentaries of the Mayavadi Bhashya, their devotion gets lost. Sarvanash, everything is finished. The devotional creeper. So Swarup Damodar Prabhu protected the devotional creeper of Bhagavanacharya. And then it's mentioned that Bhagavanacharya had a friend because he was from Bengal. He had a friend from Bengal who was liking to write poetry, and so he had written a play, a drama, in praise, specifically in praise of who? Lord Caitanya. So he wanted to recite Bhagavan Acharya wanted to arrange to have the drama, poetic drama, recited before Lord Caitanya. But the system was nobody would recite poetry before Lord Caitanya unless it was cleared first by Swarup Damodar Goswami. So that finally was arranged again and again. Bhagavat Acharya had requested, and finally it was recited. The devotee recited it in front of Swarup Damodar. And Swarup Damodar, he pointed out immediately mistakes in the drama. So I thought perhaps at this point we could read of those. I'll just read the English part, not the Bengali, just to see if you can catch the mistakes in the drama. What do you think?
Yes.
Are you up to it? Are you
Yeah.
up to it? Okay, great. Okay, here we go. Okay. For 2 or 3 days, Bhagavan Acharya continually asked Swarup Damodar Goswami to hear the poetry. Because of his repeated requests, Swarup Damodar Goswami wanted to hear the poetry written by the Brahmin from Bengal. Oh, I should say before this, Bhagavan Acharya heard the poetry, and a lot of the devotees there in Puri also were there, and they all thought, "Oh, this is very good, very nice, very good poetry, very wonderful." Okay, so here Swarup Damodar Goswami sat down with the other devotees to hear the poetry, and then the poet began to read the introductory verse. Here it is. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has assumed a golden complexion and has become the soul of the body named Lord Jagannath, whose blooming lotus eyes are widely expanded. Thus he has appeared in Jagannath Puri and brought dull matter to life. May that Lord, Sri Chaitanya Dev, bestow all good fortune upon you. When everyone present heard the verse, they all commended the poet. But Swarup Damodar Goswami requested him, kindly explain this verse. The poet said, Lord Jagannath is a most beautiful body, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is exceptionally grave, is the owner of that body. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared here in Nilachal to spiritualize the entire dull material world. Hearing this, everyone present was greatly happy. Swarup Damodar alone was very unhappy and began to speak in great anger. You are a fool, he said. You have brought ill fortune upon yourself, for you have no knowledge of the existence of Lord Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nor have you faith in them. Then it goes on. Okay, maybe somebody already knows this, but what was, think for a moment, everybody, what was the mistake that was made there by this poet from Bengal, who was the friend of the scholar Bhagavan Acharya?
You consider
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you have. Do we have any raised hands? Raise. Ram Shyam Prabhu has raised his hand, and Krishna Village, that means Krishna Kirtan Prabhu has raised his hand. I would have to say Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, because he's the senior. I'll ask him first. What would you say?
Yeah, that drama sounds sweet, but he considered Lord Jagannath as a body. And in Tattva, Lord Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are non-different, they're transcendental bodies. And that is one thing. And the second thing is, he said, because of your presence, you brought the dull matter to life, but Jagannath was there in that position already. So that's the two things I could hear.
Okay. Ram Shyam Prabhu, what would you say?
These two things only came to me also, Prabhuji, like, Lord, like as he is saying that in the body, so he is having the transcendental body. It's not like the he came in the body, and so that's only came to me. And Krishna Kirtan Prabhu also added that like he was and then dull matter become the life kind of. So Jagannath is already there in the Archa Vigraha, so he's already alive there. So that's both things. Hare Krishna.
Thank you both. Yes. Yeah, I'll just read again what he said, just to highlight it. Yeah, this is the introductory verse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has assumed a golden complexion and has become the soul of the body named Lord Jagannath, whose blooming lotus eyes are widely expanded. Thus he has appeared in Jagannath Puri and brought dull matter to life. May that Lord Sri Chaitanya Dev bestow all good fortune upon you. So yes, the mistake is that in the among conditioned souls, there's a difference between the body and the soul. The soul is dull, the body is dull matter, and it's animated by the presence of the soul. And as soon as the soul is not there, there's no activity, no life. Sometimes Prabhupada would say, Srila Prabhupada would say, actually the matter of the body is a dead body already. It's just matter. And the only thing that's living is the soul inside. But that's never true of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His body and his self are the same. Ishvara, Paramakrishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarvakarana Karanam. His body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. So that's true of both Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath being identical with Krishna, his not animated by a soul within the body, but he is Lord Krishna in his fullness. And to think otherwise is being influenced by material philosophy or Mayavad philosophy. That was Sarup Damodar's complaint, correction for this devotee. And it's interesting, we see that in this pastime that when they first heard it, many of the devotees, even Bhagavan Acharya, who is described here in this purport as a great scholar, he thought it was very good. Very interesting, isn't it? But when it was brought to the better authority, Sarup Damodar, he pointed out the mistakes. And then he told the Brahmin from Bengal. He said, Bhagavata Paragiya Bhagavata Stane. That's in the Caitanya. Bhagavata Paragiya Bhagavata Stane. If you want to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam and the teachings of the Vaishnavas, then you have to learn it at the feet of another Vaishnava. You can't just think you can know. But so he warned him very strongly. We can't make things up. We can't just try to think we can understand. But hearing in disciplic succession is essential, required. So sometimes that happens also in. Oh, I see Acharya Prabhu has his hand up. Please.
Hare Krishna. There's a nice story, a Prabhupada story that's actually quite similar to this that if you don't mind, I can share.
Yes, please, yes, and it will enhance this point.
In Mayapur temple, there was a young Indian gentleman who was something of a scholar who was associating with the devotees and associating with Prabhupada. And he was actually educated and scholarly. And one time he came before Prabhupada and said he had composed a poem in Bengali. And he composed it. And all the devotees were like, blown away, amazed to hear this amazing poetry, glorifying Krishna. And Prabhupada was very grave. And he explained that one of the verses of the poem was, Krishna, you appear before me dancing. And Prabhupada took exception to that. And he said, no, this is not how the Vaishnava thinks or how the Vaishnava prays, that you ask Krishna, that you demand Krishna, you appear before me. So in the same way, all the devotees thought, oh, amazing poetry. But Prabhupada picked out the inconsistency and exposed it. So I really like that. I like that idea of, Prabhupada doing that and we doing that, not being criticizing, but being a critical thinker. I like that. And you've also done that service for me a couple of times. I really appreciate that. So Hare Krishna, thanks.
Hare Krishna. Yes, you made it. That's very, very good point. So sometimes it's true. Like in this case, we devotees might be carried away with a certain circumstance, but that seems very devotional. But is it pleasing? It may not be pleasing to the Acharya or to Krishna, Lord Chaitanya. It happens that way. Although usually we take it that if the devotees are satisfied, then it's a good sign that Srila Prabhupada or Krishna is satisfied. But as in this case, it's not always true. We have to be somewhat careful. A little slightly different in the same regard. I know that one time I was at a Ratha Yatra ceremony, and there was a big kirtan going on, and the kirtaniya was a very famous kirtaniya, not from nearby, but from away, famous. He was doing what you call alap. You know what alap is? Anybody?
Before song, they will just do the raga for a while.
Yeah, without no words. No words, just going on like that. And so I knew that many times Srila Prabhupada, when he heard devotees do that during the kirtan, he stopped them or had somebody stop them. So I asked this person's associate, I said, how come he's doing that? And he said, well, you know what he said? The devotees like it. The devotees like it. So, okay, well, if the devotees like it, then it must be good, right? Usually so, but not always. Like in this case. So if in this case, the devotees, Bhagavan Acharya, even a scholar who was appreciating much, but then Swarup Damodar knew it wasn't pleasing to Lord Chaitanya. So if the kirtan's not pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, then how is it pleasing to Krishna? Like that. So anyway, there might be other examples like that you know. But someone who should be careful and follow carefully follow in the disciplic line as recommended here. So we know that in Vaishnava philosophy, there's a difference between the soul and the body, yes, but Krishna's body is not different than himself. Angani yasya sakalendriya vittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiran jaganti. All of his parts of his body can do what all the other parts can do. For example, when we offer Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bhog, we don't see him come and you may not see him come and eat, but he can eat with his eyes or eat with his ears if he likes, because all the different parts of his body do the functions of others. Good. Then this last part about Shikimahiti and the dream, that was kind of fun. So he was seeing this dream of Lord Chaitanya looking at Lord Jagannath and then entering into the body of Jagannath and coming out of the body of Jagannath. Oh, this dream. And then being embraced by Lord Chaitanya. And he didn't want to, he was feeling ecstasy, feeling that he had been embraced by Lord Chaitanya. And then shortly thereafter, even though it doesn't say that he went into the body of Jagannath when they came to the temple of Jagannath, he, his brother and sister, they saw Lord Jagannath there looking at the deity of Lord Jagannath, and then coming and embracing Shikimahiti, just as he did in the dream, confirming the whole situation. This is, and then he says, "You are the elder brother of Murari." Another devotee, his younger brother, was also a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. And it says there, he is described there in the Madhya Lila, chapter 10, verse 44. That's when, after Lord Chaitanya went to South Indian tour, he came back from there and came back to Puri. And at that time, there many devotees had come to see him, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and other devotees were introducing all of them to Lord Chaitanya. Some of them he apparently hadn't seen before. So one of those devotees was there, Murari Mahiti, the younger brother of Shikimahiti, and says that he has no other shelter but your lotus feet. That's the description they gave of Murari Mahiti. Hare Krishna. Any comments, questions, additions, subtractions?
I was just thinking about what you were saying about King Prataprudra. He was being accused of having lost parts of his kingdom because he was being devoted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is still prevalent. That's a materialistic way of looking. When we look at success only in material terms, sometimes even we are said, instead of spending time on this, if you pursued some professional success, you would be more successful, meaning, you make more money, you're more successful. But I was thinking about what you said about, even though King Prataprudra did not get, or he had to wait a long time to get darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he still had faith, and he realized that service to Vani is equally important than service to Vapu, or it's so I was just thinking along those lines.
Very good points. Much appreciated. Yeah. What is success in life? Success in life means to have a big kingdom. Well, not necessarily. Srila Prabhupada's success came not because of his material activities. Of course, when earlier it said that he could have been one of the richest men in India following this his occupation, but Krishna took it away for a different purpose. So success in life can be measured differently. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Agati ekagatim nadvahi natadakashadakam Sri Chaitanya Lakatesha Prema Bhakti Vadanyata. The Lord Chaitanya is the only shelter of those who have no other, have not become successful anywhere else in the material world. Agati ekagatim nadva. And for those people, he gives them love of God. Prema bhakti vedanyata. He's very merciful in giving people love of God. So it's not that you can't have some material advancement, but the real measure of advancement is spiritual advancement, to go back home, back to Godhead. All the accumulation of material wealth, position, reputation, advancements are going to be finished shortly. But advancement in Krishna consciousness stays with one, even if you don't complete your progress to go become fully purified in this life. You keep whatever progress you've made in your next life and start again at that point. It's never lost.
So we can
Thank you.
also say, sorry.
Yeah.
We can also say that these people are actually right, although they don't understand it correctly, but they're actually right, that King Prataparudra, because he was, he kind of devoted his time and life to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the reason he actually was taken on the right path.
You could say another way of saying, but that would be that it's Krishna. The loss of property was, if there was some, was Krishna's arrangement.
Yeah, and it was
Yes.
actually good.
Yes. As we said before, Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukadev Goswami, why is it that the devotees of Lord Shiva, who lives in a smashan, in a crematorium, he has nothing, they are very, very opulent. They have all these material things. And the devotees of Lord Narayan, Vishnu, who's the husband of the goddess of fortune, sometimes have nothing, have very little. So Shukadev Goswami said, oh, funny you mentioned that. Now that you mentioned that, actually, your grandfather, Yudhishthira Maharaj, asked the same question to Lord Krishna. It's the exact same question. And Krishna personally answered that question. Who's more authoritative than Krishna on that point? So Lord Krishna says, Yasyaham anu grinami harishye tadhanam shanai. When I'm very, very merciful to someone, I take things away from them. I take things away from them. Tadhanam shanai, step by step, so that they have no other shelter but Krishna. So you're right, correct. Okay. Shall we do another? Oh, let's recite those names. In the yeah. King Prataparudra.
King Prataparudra.
Krishnananda.
Krishnananda.
Shivananda.
Sivananda.
Paramananda Mahapatra.
Paramananda Mahapatra.
Bhagavan Acharya.
Bhagavan Acharya.
Ramananda Bharati.
Ramananda Bharati.
Shri Shiki Mahiti.
Shri Mahiti.
And Murari Mahiti.
And Murari Mahiti.
Yeah, they don't say here, he's not saying that these are branches. It's interesting, but just saying that they're devotees who are predominantly there getting association with Lord Chaitanya in Orissa.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I never thought Sivananda is an Oriya devotee. I thought he was.
I don't know if this is Shivanand Sen. I don't know that.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Because Shivananda Sen was already mentioned before. So Shivananda, I'm not 100% sure. That's not mentioned here, but I believe he's a different, not Shivanand Sen.
Everybody's name is ending with Nanda, Krishnananda, Sivananda, Paramananda.
Ramananda.
They're not
Bhagavan.
they're not Ramananda's brothers, right? I forgot their names. Ramananda's brothers, no, they are not, right?
Oh, Gargamuni was his brother. Oh, Brahmananda Bharati and of this Brahmananda here? Or the ISKCON Brahmananda you're talking?
No, this verse, Krishnananda, Sivananda, and Paramananda.
Oh, okay.
Mahapatra, Paramananda Mahapatra. Okay. So I was saying all three names are ending with Nanda, Ananda, actually.
Yes.
I was thinking, is there any connection with Ramananda?
I have no idea. It's a good question. We can find, I don't know. You here there was a drama named Caitanya Chandrodaya that was written under Prataparudra Maharaj's direction. You see that? It's probably Uriya. And then there's another. At the last, it said there's a description that Shiki Mahiti has some. You saw the last part about Shiki Mahiti. So, Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, when you go to Orissa next time, can you find these books?
Let me write down. Chaitanya Chandrodaya.
Chaitanya Chandrodaya was a play that was written under the direction of Prataparudra Maharaj. And then here we have, what is that? Where is it?
This one, Caitanya Charitra Mahakavya.
Yeah, there it is. Chaitanya Charitra Mahakavya. I don't know. Sometimes these books are lost, but
I'm sure it will be there in Orissa.
Yes.
There are so many books are there. I was wondering the authentic or not authentic, but looks like some of the compilations are there in Oriya, looks like.
Yeah, that would be great. And then you could translate it, and then we'll publish it here out of Krishna Village. How's that?
Let me find it first.
Okay, that sounds good. Ram Shyam Prabhu has his hand up.
And both of them are
Krishna Kirtan Prabhu.
both of them are plays, right?
It just says a book. It doesn't say a play.
Okay, go ahead.
Could be a play, but it doesn't say specifically.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention on, like Ramanand Rai brothers, we read that in the last class. That was in the verse number 133. So Ramanand Rai, Patnaik Gopinath, Kalindi, and Suddhanidhi, and Nayak Baninath.
Oh, we didn't recite those names?
We had recited, so that was last class. So they are not Rai. They all are not Rai. Sometimes
No. I think the names which you're reading, they're again series of number of devotees. They are not brothers. Gopinath is not brother of Ramanand Rai.
Yeah, so 5 sons of Bhavanand Rai were Ramanand Rai, Patnaik Gopinath, Kalindi, Sudhanidhi, and Nayak Baninath. So they all were 5 brothers, right?
Yeah.
Can we open 133 and see that?
That's interesting.
That's it.
Yes. So your observation or question is?
No, different has Nayak Baninath. Baninath Nayak Rai. That's what is probably asking how they, or Baninath Nayak. And Gopinath Patnaik. Patnaik is itself is a last name generally. And Nayak itself is a last name. So the point was how everybody has a different last names.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know?
No, I didn't pay attention to this one actually. Maybe.
Sometimes the Vaninath is called Vaninath Rai. I know that, but are there middle names sometimes in Uriya?
No, these all are last names.
Nayaka is always the last name, at least
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Patanayaka. So Gopinath Patanayaka, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
Prabhuji, so, we have read in the Brihad Bhagavatam, Brihad Bhagavat Mitra. So there, this Gopinath Patnaik has taken 1 lakh rupees from Rudra Pratap, and he got, like the punishment as the, like death sentence, kind of by his elder son, by Rudra Pratap elder son. So there also it is given the same names, like Gopinath Patnaik is the brother of Ramanand Rai. So
Okay.
yeah.
So why he doesn't have the last name Rai, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe Acharya Prabhu knows. Or he has a different question, comment. Is that Acharya Prabhu has? Yeah.
Yeah, a different comment going back to the Caitanya Charitamrita Mahakavya. Just let everyone know that it's available as an ebook on ISKCON Desire Tree.
Which one is that?
Caitanya Charita Mahakavya by Murari Gupta.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know who translated it? Any
This
idea?
particular version, I don't know offhand who translated it.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes we find in Desire Tree it's sometimes not sure who's the translator, so that makes it a little funny. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Acharya Prabhu. We'll look into that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishnugada Prabhu. Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, everyone.